What is going on, you guys? My name is CodyT503 and this is Interesting Podcast. We are coming to you guys live on July 21st, 2025 for episode 111, where today we actually have the return of a very special guest. And now, it is an absolute pleasure to reintroduce to you guys ZEB St. One.
What up? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing really good, man. How are you doing?
Man, I'm chill. I'm tired. I'm sore. I'm tired. I had a 3-day weekend. I had 7 matches in the last 3 days, and I'm sore as hell, bro. But I'm good. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here with you, dude. How you doing?
I'm doing really good, man. It is an absolute pleasure to actually have the return. It's been well over a year now since the last time that we had talked. So
I had long hair the last time we did this.
Huh?
I was still rocking the locks. I still have the long hair when we did this. Yeah. It's been a minute.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, let's just start out for all of the people who maybe don't know you. Maybe you can reintroduce your name, where you're from, and maybe a little bit about what you've been up to since the last time we talked.
My name is the Vandal of Professional Wrestling, the queer criminal ZEB St. One. I'm from Parkland, Washington. I've been wrestling like 7 years, coming up on something like that. And ain't it funny that it's episode 111 for ZEB St. One? I got a little bit of the angel numbers on there. Did you do that on purpose?
No.
Not okay. All right, cool. No.
That is so awesome.
But yeah, so since last time we talked, I mean, cut that off. That's one of the big ones. Plucking away, doing the same thing, wrestling. Still at a lot of the same places, trying to make my way out to others. I've been in Vegas a few times. I've been out in Chicago since the last time we talked. So doing a bit, man. Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah. So did you actually go to Chicago here in 2025, or was that a little bit of last year?
That was just at the beginning of last year. Yeah. Or end of 2023. I think we talked like mid 2023, something like that. Yeah. So it was a little bit after that. Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah, I heard Chicago can get pretty hectic, but I've also heard that Chicago has some like really, really big wrestling fans. Did you see that when you actually went to that state?
Yeah, so I didn't really go into the city necessarily of Chicago. I think we were like 40 minutes on the outskirts, something like that, but it was still a really good crowd, really big crowd. It was like it was one of those they know their stuff crowds. Yeah, diehards. It was cool. I enjoyed it.
That is crazy. So, like, how was it kind of coming back to Oregon after experiencing that type of crowd?
Honestly, I think we have just as good crowds out here. I don't think we're in competition with anybody in the Pacific Northwest. If that's not evidence from like Prestige last Sunday, they did 1,000 something like that. We're drawing hundreds at DOA every month, and it's always growing. I mean, we've grown out of a building recently and had to go somewhere else. We had one of our biggest crowds ever at Peak on Saturday night and did 3 days of wrestling at Geek Fest where we drew hundreds of people. So like I said, we're not in competition with anybody, dude. Yeah, it's no different coming back to wrestle in front of our people out here.
That is so awesome. So how do you feel like 2025 is going for you? Do you feel like you're really building more momentum every year?
I think so. It goes slow, you know what I'm saying? But it's been building. It has been. I've had some of my favorite moments in wrestling so far this year. I've had some of my favorite matches. I've been in good spots everywhere. I mean, I have good rapport with everyone. So I feel like it's, 2025 has been really good. Yeah.
That is awesome. So, like, was there one match that really sticks out to you if you could pick one out of the whole year and how it's been going? What is one match that really sticks out to you the most?
I think one of my favorites this year so far was me and Chris Nasty at Sonico's Schoolyard 2 in Vegas Mania Week. That was one of my favorite matches this year. And then I'm wrestling him again in a couple weeks in Vancouver, BC for the Pride Style Championship. Gonna go hard on that one. And then another one of my favorite matches I've had this so far this year was Saturday night. It was me, Chris Brady, Chris Ross, and Casey Ferreira at Peak. Banger ass 4-way. So yeah, that one was cool. Check that out when it drops. I'll be posting that onto my YouTube. I'll put the link out.
Hell yeah, that sounds good.
Mhm.
All right, so before we actually get into Sonico's backyard and you being in Vegas, because that's definitely something I want to bring up to you. One thing I wanted to bring up to you was this online stigma of either having cheap heat or having a cheap pop. Do you feel
Mhm.
like there is actually that like getting it easy, or do you think that just getting a reaction in general is beneficial for any professional wrestler?
I think it can go both ways. I think if I look at it from a fan's perspective, it's any reaction you can get is you know, a good reaction because they're just there to see whatever, and they're not. A lot of them aren't like predisposed to I'm going to react to this thing. So if something happens, they're reacting naturally, right? And you want that reaction. But other side of that also is like there's everything comes easy, or not everything, but there are things that come easy, and you can take the easy road on anything. You can flip the crowd off a million times. You can, find a kid in the crowd and get in their face or whatever, stuff like that. Which, I mean, I've done both of those things. I'm not above it. I'm just saying. So like, there's definitely two sides to it or whatever, but like, there's a time for everything also. So
Yeah.
if it's one of those crowds where like they're not a huge wrestling crowd, like it's a fair crowd or whatever, something like that can get a giant reaction and then get people invested. And it's not going to be seen as cheap heat or a cheap pop because they don't know what the hell that is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're just reacting. Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Yeah. So I know a minute ago you had just said that you're now like 7 years into your overall professional wrestling experience. Do
Just
you
about,
still
yeah.
continue training, like trying to learn these new things, these new nuances to professional
Mm-hmm.
wrestling? Is that something you have to continuously work towards?
Oh, of course. Of course. You can't just like stop once you're on shows or whatever. Like, I get like back in the day, they could do that. They were wrestling 5-6 times a night. That was their training. Like nowadays, we're wrestling, 1 to 3 times a weekend. Like we can't be doing that. We gotta, show up and keep putting time into our craft and everything like that. I've been guilty of recently not going to training as much as I want to, just to be transparent. If I'm going to be the guy, like everyone needs to train, I gotta say I haven't been there as much as I wanted. But I just started a new painting business, so I've been uh, uh, working this whole summer, real late nights, trying to make that happen. So yeah.
That is so
But yeah,
cool.
you gotta keep putting time into your craft, dude. You can't just stop. And that's one of my favorite things. I love going to seminars. I love when like DOA has people coming out a lot of the time to do seminars and help us out. I try to do as many of those as I can. TJP just did a seminar at Peak the other day that was really good. I wasn't a part of it, but I heard it was really good. You got to keep learning. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so cool. Like, to go along with that, was there any like conversation that you have had like with a vet? Like, how much fun is it for you to be able to really like pick apart those veterans' minds and get their perspectives on pro wrestling?
Oh, it's my favorite, honestly. Like, I've learned a lot from a lot of people in the area. Not even necessarily like picking it apart, like asking questions and stuff, just kind of like osmosis type things for the most part. I've learned a lot from Drexel, just kind of being around and seeing how he runs things and seeing how he works. I've learned a lot from Chris and David Peak, from seeing how they do things. Like I said, going to seminars and learning from people who've been around and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. Well, I know I had just seen on Facebook Rashad Tyson say that the SOS Pro Wrestling School is really growing and
Mhm.
bringing out all of these big, not big, but really talented individuals. And you had said that Ducky, Terrell, and Skylar was very impressive. So, what
Mhm.
impressed you about their performance?
So on Friday, I had a match with Terrell in the morning, and then I had singles match with Terrell in the morning, singles match with Terrell Rocket, singles match with Ducky Dang in the second block in that afternoon on Friday. And yesterday I had a trios match a triple threat with Skylar Hope and Judo Josh from, I think he trains over at the Relentless School. I think that's where he's from. But yeah, those three, they're all super promising. Ducky has natural movement and really like a really good mind for it. He had a really, really good match with Chris Ross too yesterday. Like for someone who's been less than 20 matches in, like they put on like a almost 20-minute banger, like outdoor in the heat, brother. It was great. Terrell also, a lot of the things came really natural. He's a really natural showman. He knows when to like take his times to, you know, in between stuff. He's good at that already. Like, yeah, a lot about that. Skylar also, she's great. Great listening, great mind, great like again, easy to work with. I think that's the biggest thing about them. They're all really easy to work with. They're trained well by Pitfall and Ethan and all them over there.
That is so interesting. So
big
out
shout
of
out
your
Grit
7
City.
years, go ahead.
I said big shout out Grit City.
All right. So throughout your entire career and all of the promotions that you've worked for and maybe all of the individuals that you've worked with, was there ever one time in which you went to a promoter that was booking an event and asked them specifically for a specific opponent?
I haven't ever asked for a specific opponent on a specific event, I don't think, but I've definitely gotten people's ears like, hey man, this one, let me get something over here. I think I have a couple of those coming up here soon. So I'm in a better position to get into people's ears about it now. I have a little more trust and I have a little more faith in me now. Been here a little bit. I've been here a little bit.
Yeah. So is there any I guess advice that you could give to any of the up and coming talent about what is the secret to success as a professional wrestler, if you were to give any perspective?
I would say I'm not necessarily the guy to ask about that because I'm still not where I want to be and I'm still really working hard to get there. And I'm not the vision of success in professional wrestling. I feel like I'm the one who's gonna get there through hard work over time. So ask me in 5-6 years maybe about that one. But just be good to people. Be safe, be good to people, work hard, train. Working hard in wrestling is a prerequisite. So it's like that person worked so hard, so they should get this place. Well, we all work hard, you know what I mean? But that's a prerequisite. If you don't do it, you're not going to get anywhere. Yeah. Keep training, learn to be unique. You know what I mean? There's we're really good about that up here. There's a lot of unique talent up here. There's a lot of people doing stuff that you're not going to see anywhere else around the country. Yeah, be yourself. As generic as all this shit sounds, like it really is. Like that's why it's generic, is because it's real. You know.
Oh, that is so fascinating. So let's talk about Sonico's Ghoulyard too. When you were actually there for, huh?
Oh, go on. I just said that's my boy. Go on.
Oh, yeah. So how was it performing in his backyard? Because like you got to be pretty all about it if you're going to have your own ring and especially have it be in your backyard. So like how was it during that time?
Well, on that note, Sonico's always been all about it. Like I think he might have been on the first indie show I ever saw at 3-2-1 Battle in like 2017, end of 2017. Yeah, he's been about it forever. That show was super fun. It was literally just in front of all the workers, all the boys, like a bunch of people from the Northwest were there. So that was really cool. We had a really good presence there. There were a ton of people I'd never met. So having a really good match in front of them was cool. No, that was super cool. I love stuff like that. That's like, you know, I love performing in front of the fans and stuff, but like sometimes when it's just for us, it's really cool too.
That is awesome. So like what did you actually do when you were in Las Vegas over the WrestleMania weekend? And do you plan on returning next year?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be there next year. It's especially coming from here. That's super cheap, easy flight. And like now that we know it's there again, like we're gonna have I feel like we're already talking about having a pretty good Dragonplex dojo presence down there. 5 or 6 of us are already talking about, getting a room and stuff. What I did last year, day after I came in Tuesday night, and then Wednesday night was Sonico's Schoolyard, had a banger with Chris Nasty. I went and helped out at Dusk and a couple other shows on Thursday that were really fun. Dusk was a really fun show. I'll be back with them, Vancouver, on August 1st, the Pride Style Dusk and Invoke show. That's going to be a dope one. And then on Friday, I worked 2 shows. I did a gauntlet match with Compton Mania on Friday at their Free Container Park show. I got to scrap it up a little bit with Paul London in there, which is cool for 11-year-old me. That was really cool. Then 10 minutes after that match, I had to stop getting ready for my match on the next card to go do the gauntlet match, and then came back, finished getting ready, and then went out for that one like 10 minutes later. So that was really cool. Felt like that was a challenging experience a little bit, having to do them like back to back like that. But that was fun. I think was there 5 of us in that match? It was me, dude named Exiled Zero from Vegas, who's really good. He just spent some time in Japan not long ago. Izzy James, who I think he just won the NWA Texas Championship or something like that. One of those, really good dude. Freya the Slaya, she's really dope. And a guy named, I forget this last guy name. Really good dude. I hope I can get the footage of that one and put it up. Sorry, I'm forgetting your name. But yeah, that was a really good one too. So I stayed pretty busy. That's what I did for the weekend, and then just stayed and watched Mania with the homies.
That is so awesome. I know you had just brought up Paul London, and that was something that was really exciting for 11-year-old you. Was that when it was Paul London and Brian Kendrick?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Big old baggy pant era, flying around the ring. He had the giant gauntlets on and stuff, dude. I almost rocked those when I first started because of him. No, but that era. That was my first, like, my first into wrestling was the late 90s, and then stuff happened. I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling for a while. As a lot of kids weren't, you know what I'm saying? And then when I came back again, it was like the SmackDown 6 era. And then with the cruiserweights and everything. So that was a big part of it. Yeah.
That is so interesting. But let's talk about the Prestige Combat Clash 2025. How do you feel that whole environment with that many people really resonated now with people that Prestige can be one of the top lines as far as a promotion?
I think they've been on that track for a long time now. And that's like the last show they did last year at Combat Clash was I think a couple hundred less than they did this year. So that was a big step up. And this year I feel like they solidified that they could be one of those. That environment, that was so loud in there, dude. I was only in the Battle Royal, but the people were like, they were there even for that. So that was, yeah, that's one of those, like, I got to be there again type moments. Like, I got to be in front of like a big crowd like that type moment. So it really kind of lights a fire under your ass, dude. Like, just that like noise and reaction. It kind of like you still hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how was it being thrown out of the ring, as instead of just going over the rope, you're actually tossed outside of it? How did that feel, and like what brought you to want to actually do that spot?
I'm a smaller individual in the terms of wrestling, so I don't think I've ever gone over the top rope in a normal way in a battle royal. I've been thrown over in gorilla press style. I think that's a 3rd or 4th time I've been power bombed over the top, maybe like that. So I've been thrown over like that quite a few times. So that's just like, hey, I want to have a cool elimination. Throw me out like this.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to my boys Andrew Cass and JT Thorne and I think they pulled Stephen Crow in there at the last second to catch me for that. My boys, thank you. You see too many clips on the internet nowadays of people just sidestepping it. But nah, they grabbed me. That was cool. Thank you.
That is so interesting. Yeah, well, one thing I noticed about that whole venue and the way that it was set up was you guys had more space on the outside from the fans to the edge of the ring. Did you feel like a lot more comfortable being thrown over the ropes, knowing that you had that much area to work with?
I did until I rolled backwards and I was still in the fans' laps. Because Sid threw my ass super far. But no, I mean, yeah, I kind of like having the fans up close. I mean, it feels more like I used to do like a lot of like hardcore punk rock shows and stuff like that. It feels more like that. I like the up close DIY environment, but something like that, like in a stadium like that, it just makes it feel bigger.
Yeah, very interesting. I know Toni Storm was also on that card. Did you possibly get to go up and say hi to her and maybe introduce yourself and whatnot?
I did not. She was busy the whole day. I don't think I ever saw her not doing something officially connected to the show. And then she did her stuff, and then she had to get out and go do other stuff. She's Toni Storm, you know what I'm saying? That would have been cool. Girl. She's one of my favorites right now. She's killing it. If you're not like, we tell a lot of the, when we give people who to watch down the list of new students at the school, we put her on every list. We always tell her, like, you got to like watch her for the wrestling and for the character.
Yeah. So how was it watching perhaps from the back, the steel cage main event, and just how much of a banger that was? How was it, watching that even from back in the curtain?
Terrifying. Those boys murdered each other. No, that honestly, that was one of the best matches I've seen live. Top 10 I've seen live, I'd say. That was a killer match. Some of the stuff they did, I want to say it as like I don't think I'd ever do. If I was put in the situation, I'd probably nut up and do it. But like, they did some wild shit.
Like that suplex off of the top of the cage.
Dragged him over it, suplexed him down. The table bump was nuts. Even the barbed wire hand wrap. I hate sharp shit, dude. If I get punched with the barbed wire, that No, that was a good one. I enjoyed it. I'd love to wrestle either of those dudes. Fun fact, my first match ever, actually, I did the Jesus Jr. character when I first came in. Y'all are blessed. And Judas Icarus at the time had these gold and white kick pads with crosses all over them. So the promoter was like, hey, can he borrow these for the first match? So for my first match, I was wearing Judas Icarus's kick pad covers.
That is so interesting. That's crazy. Yeah, we'll definitely have to get into your Jesus Christ Jr. character a little bit, because that's something I definitely want to bring up to you. But one thing that I find fascinating is that we're actually getting the return of 5cc wrestling. So how do you feel about them coming back and getting back into the promotion list?
I love it. We all know Logan Pass, the booker of it, last year. Very sadly, we all loved him. He was a great friend to all of us. And the people bringing it back are his family. So it was the people who are closest to him. Yeah. And they're doing it as a memorial. They're doing it as in his honor and in his name. And I've talked to them all personally. And it's gotten me really, really excited to come back. And 1 second here.
No, you good.
5cc championship coming back. Nice. I can't tell you yet, because they haven't announced it yet, who it's going to be, who I am wrestling for this championship on the first match back on August 2nd. But it's someone that because we've talked about them before. It's someone I've wrestled before, and it's going to be a really good one. And also, always got that up on the mantle. R.I.P. my boy Rocket Boy.
That
right
is
next
so
to this
fucking
thing.
awesome. That is
Yeah,
dope.
yeah. So I can't tell
That
you
is-
how excited I am for it. That's
yeah.
That's one of those where like everything's on the table. I'm going as fucking hard as I can for my boy. So yeah,
That is
big
so
up.
awesome, man. That is
Shout
so
out.
cool. Well, I know I had just said that something was dope, so let's talk about dope pro wrestling and you against Princess
Yeah.
Deathwish. How was it working for an event that didn't have a ring?
I love the no ring shows. I love those. So I did 2 matches that night actually. It was supposed to be me versus Princess Deathwish originally, but he had flight issues, so he got geared up in the car, had to come in with his bag, and we had a trios match, me, him, and Sonico, where we just, I had already wrestled. I wrestled Hoochie Daddy earlier in the day. I don't know if you've seen him. Shout out. He was really good. Like, that was a good match. I enjoyed that. We beat the hell out of each other. Dude hit super hard, which fucking good, because so do I. And then we had the trios with, or triple threat with me, Sonico, and Princess Deathwish, which we were all just kind of kicking it outside. And Deathwish walks up, and we're like, "You want to go do this?" So we just booked the match ourselves, pretty much on the outside. Asked the booker if we could do it, and he said, "Yeah, go out." So we went and did it 5 minutes after Deathwish showed up. And that's one of the things I love about it. I love the on the fly wrestling stuff about wrestling like that, where like kind of anything can happen, card subject to change, nothing's set in stone until it's in the ring and the bell rings.
Mhm.
Like, so yeah.
Interesting. So, well, what did you enjoy about Hoochie Daddy and what he had to bring to the ring?
Oh, dude, he does such dumb shit. But like that's all wrestling is. Like wrestling is dumb shit, right? Like
Mhm.
I started out as a fake son of Jesus. Like that's the best things in wrestling. So he just had like he has a great character and he's learning really well and he listens really well. And that's the things you got to do to get better, and he's on that right track.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I know you had just brought in the 5cc championship. Is there any other championship that is up for grabs around the area that you're really drawn to?
I don't know about up for grabs, but I know one that I've always really had like an affinity towards and an eye on, and really liked what they've done with it, is the DOA Pure Championship.
Yeah.
That's been one I've really liked. We talked about Sonico earlier. He had that for a while. Jaden had it for a while. Draquan has had it for like 2 years now and had a really good run with that, and really good story that goes along with that. So wrestling him for that would be absolutely amazing. I've known him for years. We trained together way back in the day when we first started, before either of us had a match. So that would be super fun. I would like to get those DOA trios titles that we were that close to getting a couple months ago with the Cobra Clutch. I want that Pride Style Championship that I'm wrestling for on August 1st. Like, I got a space right next to the 5cc one up here on the mantle. So
Yes.
what's good, Chris Nasty?
That is so interesting. Well, I know one thing I wanted to bring up to you is I know that when I was interviewing Jackhammer, we were kind of talking about how he's the biggest critic as far as his matches go. Is there anything that you like do you kind of pick apart yourself when it comes to matches? Yeah. And if you happen to have a bad match, how do you address it?
I used to be really hard. Like I used to get like genuinely upset about it. Like it would like affect my day-to-day life if I was having like a string of bad matches. I've learned to compartmentalize it a little bit. I've learned how to like take it in stride and just learn from it, because it's gonna happen. Like you're gonna have stuff that's not good. You're gonna have people you don't have the best chemistry with. So like I've had matches that I was really excited for that didn't end up the best, because just that's wrestling. You just sometimes don't have the best chemistry with another wrestler. It doesn't mean you're not good. It doesn't mean they're not good or someone did anything wrong. It just is what it is. So I've learned to just kind of like take it in stride and learn from that and watch it back and see what you got to do to, get better at that.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah. So you
since
had
I've
just brought
stopped, I was gonna say since which I've stopped being so like hard on it, it's easier to actually like look at it objectively and learn from it. You know what I mean? Because you're less in your head about it. I can watch it as like if I was gonna like critique another wrestler, I'm looking at myself as that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot easier to do that without throwing so much of the emotion into it.
Yeah. Well, like you were just bringing up that like you have to kind of have this vibe with one another where, you guys can both just go out and tango and do what you need to do. Is there anybody that you feel like you had the best chemistry with where it wasn't like you had to work anything? It just flowed naturally?
Speaking of recently, to just top of the brain, me and Ducky Dang had really good chemistry. The 4-way on Saturday, that was the first time I've worked Casey Ferreira. I think we had really good chemistry. Me and Chris Brady have worked each other 10 times over the years, and we've known each other since we were kids. We have great chemistry in the ring together. Nathan Fox, especially as a tag team, like we just vibe and flow. I think a lot of that comes with training together and knowing each other really well.
Yeah.
I had one match with Jaden I think it was just about 2 years ago now at POW. It was only a little 6-minute match, but that one flowed super well. It was super easy. So yeah.
That is so interesting. Well, I wanted to bring up to you your ASW debut again against Matt Bronson. So before we actually get,
him too. I had great chemistry with him too. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay. Well, before we actually get into the official match, ASW is in Canada. Am I correct?
Yeah. The BC area.
Yeah. So how was it, I guess, traveling all that way? Even though you may only have a spot for 20 minutes, you're still building, like, how do I say that? I think you get what I mean. Like
building equity,
all
like
that way. And,
yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing. It sees, it shows that you're putting in the work and you're trying. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't
a lot
really
more
know
people
how
from
to
the
word
States
that.
have been like, yeah, of course. Yeah. Like a lot of more people from the States and the Washington, Oregon area, especially have been going up to Canada recently than there were, even 7-8 years ago when I was just starting. So it's been really cool to see that kind of like talent trade, you know what I mean, between the countries.
Yeah. Yeah, I know during the match, he had you up on the top rope, and then he did a avalanche fall away slam, and you like almost reached the other side of the ring. So like that's a long fall and a lot to get tossed by. So how was it flying through the air and unfortunately having it land?
That was a ride. Fun until you hit the mat. Bro, I bounced on that one. I boing on that. Bro, no, that was I think I didn't call that exact move, but I told him I want him to destroy me on that one. And then he picked me up and then he hit me with a power bomb right after that. So I was like, if I'm going out, I'm going out. Like make it big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super fun. They're cool to work for. Matt's a great dude. As much as I hate those West Coast heavy dudes, he's cool.
Oh man. So I know earlier we were kind of talking before the podcast, and I had sent you that video of AJ Francis going through the ladder. Like, what was your initial reaction to seeing that?
I think he already has kids, so I think he's good. No, oh God. No, I don't ever want to do that in my life. That was terrifying.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, dude. Do you agree with this online perspective of there being good wrestling and then spot fests? Do you think that that is something that people should really even focus on when it comes to critiquing a professional wrestling match?
I don't think so at all. I think it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about like cheap heat, cheap pops. If the people like it, who are we to say anything about it? If it's getting a
Yeah.
reaction, who are we to say whatever? So if the thing that brings the crowd to their feet is what someone else calls the spot fest or like, you know, whatever the hell, then that's good wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there's obviously ways you can put things in between the spots or whatever to make it make more sense or like be better or whatever. But it's good wrestling, good wrestling. Like if it's impressive, it's impressive. We're not in the days of trying to convince people it's real. Everyone's seen UFC. Like no one sells in the UFC. They do the opposite. They're trying to show you that they're not hurt. You know what I'm saying? So like we're not trying to make it real. We're trying to put on a show. It's theater combat.
Yeah.
So like if it's cool, if it makes sense, even just a little bit, and the crowd likes it, then that's wrestling. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. I know when I was talking with Jack Hammer, he had kind of said that the rise of UFC has been not a detriment, but it has definitely affected the way that people perceive professional wrestling. Do you feel that same way?
I feel like it kind of has to. I feel like no, even when UFC like was first starting it, we were still like known. We weren't in the days of people really thinking it was real, yeah, or whatever, or them like really protecting that kayfabe. There was still more of it than there is now. But like it's been around for so long, and the histories of them are so intertwined in everything. The rise of it kind of has to change how people see it. I mean, like watching a heavyweight, if there's someone who's 300 pounds punch me in the face on the top turnbuckle 10 times and then I don't fall down and I stumble out or whatever, like everyone's seen a heavyweight knock out another heavyweight with one punch.
Yeah.
It don't really make that much sense.
Yeah.
But again, if the crowd likes it, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it kind of, again, but like it's going to change the way people see it. Yeah.
Yeah. That is so fascinating. Well, I know I wanted to bring up to you your Jesus Christ Jr. gimmick. And I had seen this video of where you set down 2 cases of water and then you walked across water. Like, who thought that would be just hilarious to do? I found that so funny.
I have an old notebook full of just dumb Jesus cliches like that I've used. And that's my favorite. That's definitely my favorite one I've ever done. That was good.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell him I was doing it. I just brought the cases of water and I was like, hey, this is what we're doing tonight.
Oh man, that is so awesome. So one thing I wanted to get your perspective on, something that I find very interesting, is that it seems like we're coming out with a lot of shows or movies that are based around professional wrestling. And not to say that they're overexposing the industry, but they also say that the last front line of something that hasn't been exposed is the backstage area, and that is the last sacred thing that professional wrestlers have, where you have to be a part of the industry. Do you feel that same exact sentiment or way?
I think physically, definitely. Like, I don't think anyone besides the people connected to the show or on the show or whatever should be in a backstage area in one way or another, you know? I think there's different tiers to it because also with exposing it or whatever, a lot more people have gotten into it with how many, like, you know, offshoot wrestling shows that aren't WWE or AEW or any of the main promotions that are on like Netflix or Prime or even Tubi is some wrestling, which is really weird. but they got a ton of wrestling on there. But it brings people in. So on that hand, it's really cool. I like that. A lot of them are kind of work shooty. So it's like they make you feel like you're learning something, but if you like, if you're in a lot of those backstage areas, you kind of see what they're doing, which is cool. So a lot of them aren't really like really pulling back the curtain too much. But again, I'm from this era where the curtain was already pulled back. So
that makes sense.
So I don't know how much of a big difference there is between that. But like, I don't think, again, we're not in the days of kayfabe. No one thinks it's real anymore, but there is still a little bit of magic. You know, I don't want to know how the magician does his tricks.
Yeah.
But I know he's not a sorcerer with magical powers, you know? So that's my best way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, do you think that like if somebody were to ever try to go into pro wrestling training, you're going to learn some things that you wouldn't have learned had you not been a part of the overall backstage area and whatever? So maybe there isn't as much as that overexposure in movies is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause there's like in any industry and any like anything you do, whether it's entertainment or even just a normal job, like you're still going to have to learn things firsthand, and it's still going to have to like either happen to you or in front of you or just, you know, through osmosis or learning like that. You're going to see new things firsthand. You can learn a lot from podcasts and, you know, TV and all these different shows, but you know, the experience is where you really learn.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have a couple more questions for you. Do you have any specific plans that you plan on doing in 2026? Like anything you really want to accomplish?
I want to travel more in 2026. This last year I've traveled less than I have the last couple years. But again, that's like I said, I'm starting a new business. I'm doing a lot of things outside of wrestling. That's kind of keeping me here. I want to travel more next year. I'm like I said, I'm definitely going back to Vegas. I want to go back to Chicago next year. I've talked to some people in Texas. I've talked to some people on the East Coast. I've talked to people Florida. So I'm hoping to make it to at least a few of those places next year. So that's a big one. Just kind of branch out, maybe have some different opponents that I've, you know, never wrestled before. But a lot of that it's wrestling. It's luck of the draw. A lot of the time, it's the position you get put in. You can work, you know, as hard as you want, and that's going to do wonders. But it's still at the end of the day, someone's got a pencil and an eraser. So a lot of that comes down to if you can make it happen. So that's the goal. Is I'm trying to make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I know the last time that we had talked, I had asked you what professional wrestling means to you. Do you feel like as you've gone throughout your career, it builds to like it means a lot more every time you get to actually go out and perform?
I think so. I think, yeah, it's definitely a bigger part of my life now than it's ever been. I don't know if I like put as much of my personal and emotional equity into it enough to where like it's a goal and a dream and it's everything and it drives me and it's a desire and all that stuff. But like, I don't think to like the point of detriment, if that makes sense. But it's a bigger part of my life to where I'm doing more. I'm in a better position than I've ever been in. I have better connections than I ever have. And it's something that I've built and I want to protect and I want to keep building.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like it's built through now it means like it's still the same dream that as it was back then. But since it's built more, it's like more than just the dream now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That is so freaking awesome. Well, I just want to thank you for allowing me to be able to take some time out of your personal life just so that I could sit down with you and just go throughout all of these questions and really get more of your perspective on pro wrestling. So thank you very much for actually staying with me. I appreciate it.
Sure. No, it's always cool talking to you, man. It's always cool seeing you at shows and stuff. Like, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you, dude. It's always fun. But
All
no,
right,
dude,
man. Well,
I could be out painting this. I could be out painting a house right now. I would much rather do that than talk wrestling. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I hope you have a very, very good night, and I cannot wait to see you when you return to Independence.
I appreciate you, dude. Yes. Everyone watching at ZEB Saint 1, Instagram, Twitter, Pete me, check it out. Come watch me defend this August 2nd, Bellingham, Washington, 5cc Wrestling. The day before that, cross the border going to Canada. If you're already in Canada, go check me out. Wrestling Chris Nasty for the Pride Style Championship. Watch me be ZEB 2 belts. Keep up with it. I'll be doing a lot more. Thanks, brother.
Right,
I really
man.
appreciate you.
Have a good night, bro. Come on. There we go. Well, all right, you guys. So that was Interesting's podcast interview with ZEB Saint 1. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe button, ring that notification bell so you guys get notified whenever I upload content. Make sure to go and follow me on social media at CodyT503. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I hope you all have a very, very